All right, moving on now. Our next guest is an expert on healing after trauma. We all experience trauma and we all have to move forward after. A new book is out that helps Americans overcome those feelings by teaching them how to use faith to heal after experiencing a traumatic event. Tim Murphy is a former Pennsylvania Republican congressman and author of the new book, The Christ Cure, 10 Biblical Ways to Heal from Trauma, Tragedy, and PTSD. Congressman, good morning. Nice to see you.
Good morning, Rob. Good to be with you today.
So take us through this. How can we heal using faith and 10 biblical ways after going through something traumatic?
Well, sure. And today is filled with stories of shootings around the country, of the anniversary of the Boston Marathon, and traumas that we have to understand can affect anybody. About 70% of people at some time in their life will face a life-threatening trauma to themselves, a loved one. They may have devastating news that hits them about losing a job or divorce or something. But what happens is there's a lot of things that can be done with counseling and talk therapy, helping people through this. And there's some things that can be done with medication, but medication will change how we feel. It doesn't change how we think. What I have found in my years serving as a Navy psychologist and as other psychologists as well, is that very often we stay in the level of trying to struggle and put pieces together. But there's a few things that stick with us. One is a sense of guilt or moral injury, that something we have done has caused this. We feel abandoned by friends. We may even feel abandoned by God in this process and feel like we can't be forgiven for what we have done, because sometimes we bring the trauma on ourselves or what has happened to us. And the point is this: there is forgiveness, there is a wholeness, there is a healing that can take place. But in my search for this, quite frankly, struggling with some of my own depressive issues, is that faith is an important part. Research tells us that those who are religious and have a strong faith actually do much better over time, because we can see something over the horizon, a reason to hope, a reason to have strength. And so I wrote this book because, quite frankly, there wasn't a guide that looked at this. And in this one, particularly, I hone in on the Apostle Paul, who had a whole host of things: beaten with rods 3 times, whipped with a whip 39 lashes 5 times, shipwrecked, bitten by a snake, run out of town. His list goes on and on and on. I thought if anybody we should look to for inspiration and hope, it's someone like he and other biblical characters too, who have endured far more than we have, but have come out with a sense of strength and a sense of hope. So I wanted to share that with people and show how those who've been through trauma and those who love them and counselors and clergy can all benefit from learning more about this.
Congressman, it's interesting. We have just about 30 seconds left. Can you give us one of the 10 things that we can do?
Sure. Well, in that, there's resilience, resistance, recovery, and renewal. And in this sense of recovery, this is important. It is choosing to have hope over hopelessness. It is choosing to feel forgiveness instead of condemnation. I'm mentioning a couple there. And it's really going to our core and saying, look, we are loved, we are cared for. We will always have this sense that is there, that we can put ourselves back together. And it is this prayerful approach of understanding forgiveness and hope that we can see a much better future for ourselves.
All right. I like that. I think that's something we can all get behind there. Hope, so important. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you. You've been watching Tim Murphy, former U.S. Congressman and author of The Christ Cure. The Christ Cure is a book that will teach you 10 different biblical ways to heal from trauma, tragedy, and PTSD, as you just heard. You can get this book right now with a free special offer from Newsmax Health. It's a $25 value. You can call or go online to check it out. You can log on to ChristCure511.com or call that number right there on your screen. Stay with us. We'll be right back.